The night my own family forgot my birthday. I learned something worse than being invisible. They didn't forget, they chose not to see me. I was standing outside a restaurant in the rain, mascara bleeding down my cheeks, when the hostess smiled and said, "Happy birthday, Abigail. We've been expecting you." That's when my phone buzzed with a message from my mother that made my stomach drop. "Don't come home tonight. We need to talk." If you asked me a year ago who I trusted most in the world, I would have said my family without hesitation. My mother Linda, who wore her worry like perfume, my father, Robert, who spoke in calm sentences like nothing could ever truly fall apart, my older brother Ethan, who liked to play protector, and my younger sister Claire, who could cry on cue and somehow always land on her feet. I was the steady one, the one who paid bills on time, remembered anniversaries, and made sure everyone else stayed afloat. I didn't mind it, at least I didn't think I did. It felt good to be needed. It felt like love. My birthday was the one day I let myself want something back. I'd turned 31 that week. Not a big birthday, not a milestone anyone posts long captions about, but to me it mattered because it was the first birthday since my engagement fell apart. Since Jason, my very responsible, very charming fiancé, had admitted he'd been confused, and then moved in with a coworker 2 weeks later, like I was a temporary subscription he'd decided to cancel. I didn't want pity, I just wanted proof that I wasn't as easy to discard as Jason had made me feel. So when my family group chat went silent the whole morning, I told myself not to spiral. At 9:06 a.m., I texted, "Good morning." At 10:22, I added, "Guess what day it is?" At noon, I tried to laugh it off. "Okay, I'll stop fishing. I'm officially 31 today." No confetti emoji, no happy birthday from Ethan, no all caps message from Claire, not even a thumbs up from Dad. I stared at my phone at my desk until the screen went black, then lit it again like maybe I'd missed a notification. My coworkers sang to a woman named Denise in the break room that afternoon, and I smiled while swallowing something sharp. By evening, I convinced myself they were planning a surprise. It was a little pathetic how quickly hope can disguise humiliation. I went home, changed into a simple black dress, curled my hair, and dabbed on the lipstick I'd been saving for a special occasion. As if I could summon special by force. Then I texted my mother, "Should I come by for dinner?" No response. At 6:40, I called. It rang until voicemail. I tried Ethan, voicemail, Claire, voicemail. My hands started shaking in a way I couldn't control. I tried to ground myself with logic. Maybe they're driving. Maybe they're cooking. Maybe the surprise is happening right now. At 7:15. My mother finally texted back, "Sorry, busy. Don't come home tonight. We need to talk tomorrow." Tomorrow, on my birthday. I was being told to stay away from my own family home, like I was a problem that could be rescheduled. I didn't cry immediately. I went very still. There's a numbness that's worse than sadness, because it feels like your heart has decided to step out for air. Then my phone buzzed again, this time. An email notification, a reservation confirmation from Bellamy Bistro. Reservation for Abigail Harper, party of 4, 8 p.m. I blinked, confused. I didn't make that reservation. Under the confirmation, a note, "We can't wait to celebrate you." My throat tightened so fast it hurt. I grabbed my coat and drove there without thinking, as if my body had decided it needed proof of reality. The city was wet and shining, streetlights smearing across the windshield. By the time I parked, rain had soaked the hem of my dress. Inside, the restaurant smelled like warm bread and herbs. The hostess, her name tag read Mariel, looked up and smiled like she recognized me from somewhere. "Abigail?" she asked. I froze. "Yes, but I think there's been a mistake." Maria's smile didn't fade. "No mistake. Happy birthday." The words hit me like a gentle slap. I felt myself wobble. She leaned closer, lowering her voice. "Your family called earlier. They said they might be late, but we set everything up." "My family," I repeated, hearing how thin my voice sounded. Maria nodded. "Table by the window. Your favorite." "Well, they said it was your favorite." Something inside me cracked. Not because of the table, not because of the birthday, but because my family had been somewhere today, making calls, arranging things, and they hadn't once managed to call me. I walked to the table as if I was floating. For place settings, a small bouquet of white roses, a folded card that said "to Abigail" in my mother's handwriting. I sat down with my hands in my lap, waiting. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Maria brought water and said softly, "They're on their way." at 8:40. The chair across from me was still empty. I picked up the card. Inside, in my mother's neat script, it read, Abigail, we need you to understand this is for the best. Please don't make a scene. Love, Mom. My breath left my body like it had been punched out. For the best wasn't birthday language. It was eviction language, intervention language, the language people use when they're about to hurt you and want credit for being gentle. I stood up so abruptly the chair scraped. Maria rushed over. Are you okay? I heard myself say, can I use your restroom? In the mirror, I looked like a woman trying to keep a collapsing building upright with her bare hands. I reapplied lipstick with trembling fingers and forced myself to breathe. When I came back out, my phone buzzed again. A message from Ethan. Don't freak out. Just sit tight. That was it. That was the birthday wish. Sit tight. I returned to the table anyway, because leaving felt like admitting I was disposable. I sat there like a placeholder in my own life. At 9:07, the door opened and my family walked in. Laughing. My mother's hair was perfect. My father's coat was dry. Claire was wearing a glittery top like she was the guest of honor. Ethan walked behind them, eyes darting as if he expected me to throw something. When they saw me, their smiles collapsed like cheap paper. Abigail, my mother said, drawing out my name like it was a negotiation. I stood. What is this? Claire slid into her seat, first without apologizing. Can we just not do this here? My father cleared his throat. Honey, let's talk calmly. I looked at the 4-place settings. You told me not to come home. You ignored me all day. You made a reservation in my name. And now you're here like this is normal. Ethan tried to smile. It's complicated. My mother reached into her purse and placed a folder on the table, sliding it toward me like a gift wrapped in legal paper. We need you to sign, she said. My stomach dropped. Sign what? My father said, it's about the house. Not our house. The house I'd been helping pay for since Dad had his temporary layoff that turned into 3 years of figuring things out. The house I'd moved back into after Jason left because my mother insisted, you'll heal better with family. I opened the folder. Inside were documents, refinancing papers, a loan application, my name printed in bold as a code-signer. Claire sipped her water and said casually, it's just paperwork, Abby. Just paperwork, I echoed, feeling the room tilt. You ignored my birthday to get me to sign a loan. My mother's eyes flashed. Don't twist it. This is important. What for? I asked, voice sharp. Ethan rubbed his forehead. Claire has some debt. Claire's chin lifted. It's not debt. It's an investment that didn't work out. I stared at her. What kind of investment? She rolled her eyes. Crypto. Okay. I thought it was smart. Everyone was doing it. I looked at my parents. So, you want to refinance the house to pay for Claire's mistake? My father said. It's more than that. The bank needs a stable income on the application. And there it was, the truth hiding in plain sight. My paycheck, my credit score, my stability, the thing I'd built while everyone else leaned on me like I was furniture. My mother's tone hardened. Abigail, you live in our home. You contribute. This is family. I laughed once. A broken sound. Family doesn't ignore your birthday to trap you into signing papers. Claire leaned forward, eyes narrowing. You're being dramatic. It's not like we didn't come. My vision blurred with rage. You came to use me. Ethan whispered, Abby, please. I looked at Maria standing near the host stand, watching carefully, concern etched on her face. I realized the card hadn't been a birthday message. It had been a warning. Don't make a scene. As if my pain was the embarrassing part, not their betrayal. But my mother pushed a pen toward me. Sign it. Then, we'll do cake. Cake? I felt something in me go cold and quiet. The way a storm settles into certainty before it destroys a town. No, I said. My father's brows knit. Abigail, don't be stubborn. I'm not being stubborn, I replied. I'm being awake. My mother's voice rose. After everything we've done for you, I cut her off. Everything you've done for me. I paid the electric bill. I covered Ethan's car repair. I loaned Claire money when she needed a fresh start, which I never got back. I moved home when my fiancé left, because you said you'd support me, and today you couldn't even text me happy birthday. Silence thickened around us. Claire scoffed. Wow, keeping score now. Yes, I said, and my voice didn't shake anymore, because you've been playing me like a scorekeeper this entire time. My mother's face tightened. If you don't sign, you're choosing to hurt this family. I stared at her. No, you already chose who gets hurt. It's just not going to be me anymore. I picked up the folder, closed it, and slid it back. Then, I did something I'd never done in my life. I stood up and walked away from the table. Maria approached immediately. Abigail, you need help. I swallowed hard. I need a minute. She led me to a quiet corner near the service station. You don't have to go back. I know, I whispered, surprised at how much it mattered that someone said it. I didn't go back. I went outside into the rain again, because the cold felt cleaner than their warmth. In my car, I cried so hard my ribs ached. But underneath the grief, something else grew. Clarity. I wasn't just forgotten. I was targeted. That night, I didn't drive home. I drove to my apartment, the one I'd kept even after moving back. Because a part of me didn't trust anyone enough to surrender my keys, I sat on the floor in the dark and made a list in my phone, hands still trembling. Check my credit report, freeze my credit. Change passwords, gather proof of every loan I'd given them, move my remaining things out of the family house quietly, decide what accountability looks like. Because revenge, I learned, isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's paperwork. The next morning, I checked my credit report and felt sick all over again. There were inquiries I didn't recognize, applications that hadn't gone through yet. My parents hadn't just tried to refinance with me, they'd tried other doors first. And now they'd decided my birthday was the best time to pick the lock. I froze everything. I called the bank listed on the paperwork and told them, in a voice so steady it surprised me, that I did not authorize any application using my information. I documented names, times, and confirmation numbers. I made a folder on my laptop titled Evidence. Then I did the hardest part. I acted normal. For 3 days, I answered my mother's calls with short, flat responses. Busy, tired, we'll talk later. I let them think I was sulking, because that's what they expected, a wounded daughter who would eventually cave for peace. While they waited for me to break, I moved. I took my lunch breaks to haul boxes from the house to my car. I packed my childhood photos, my documents, anything sentimental or important. I did it quietly, like a ghost reclaiming her life. On the 4th day, I asked them to meet me, not at home, not at a restaurant, at my bank where the truth could sit under fluorescent lights, and not hide behind family excuses. My mother arrived already angry. This is ridiculous, she hissed in the lobby. My father tried to look calm. Abigail, you're overreacting. Claire showed up 10 minutes late, scrolling on her phone like this was a group project she didn't care about. Ethan looked miserable, which almost made me feel sorry for him. Almost. I sat across from them with my folder, my real folder, and slid it forward. What's this? My mother asked. Your plan, I said. I laid out the credit inquiries, the documentation, the refinancing papers, the messages. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I spoke like a woman reading a verdict. I've frozen my credit, I continued. I've reported the unauthorized inquiries, and I've notified the bank that I will not co-sign anything. If my name appears on any application again, I will file a formal identity fraud report. Claire's head snapped up. You wouldn't. I looked at her. Try me. My father's face turned red. You're threatening your own family. My voice stayed steady. No, I'm warning people who tried to use me. My mother leaned forward, eyes sharp. You're being selfish. Something inside me, old, obedient, desperate, tried to flinch, but it didn't. I'm being free, I said. And here's what happens next. I slid another paper forward, a typed summary of the money I'd given them over the years, with dates and amounts. I didn't demand it back, not as a negotiation. As a mirror. This is what you took, I said. Consider it the cost of losing access to me. Ethan's voice cracked. Abby. I glanced at him. You told me to sit tight. I did. I sat tight long enough to finally see you clearly. My mother's mouth opened, ready to argue, but Maria's voice echoed in my head. You don't have to go back, so I stood. I'm moving out today, I said. You won't have my address. If you contact my workplace, I'll treat it as harassment. If you use my information again, I'll involve the police. And if any of you ever wonder why I'm not around, remember my 31st birthday. Remember how you looked at me like a signature. I walked out before they could turn my strength into a debate. The real revenge wasn't watching them crumble. It was refusing to crumble with them. Over the next month, my mother left voicemails that swung between guilt and rage. My father sent long texts about family loyalty. Claire tried to message me like nothing happened. Hey, can you send me the password for Netflix? I didn't respond. Ethan showed up at my apartment once, holding a grocery bag like an apology. He didn't come inside. He just stood in the hallway and said, I didn't know how bad it was. I thought it was temporary. It was temporary, I told him, until I stopped letting it be permanent. He nodded, eyes wet. Are you ever going to forgive us? I considered it. Forgiveness is a tender word people use, like a key they're entitled to. I might forgive, I said, but I won't forget, and I won't return to the version of me that made this possible. He left quietly. A week later, I went back to Bellamy Bistro alone. Baphomet recognized me immediately. She led me to the same window table. This time, it wasn't set for 4. It was set for 1 with dignity. I'm glad you came back, she said. So am I replied. I ordered dessert first. I let the candle burn without waiting for anyone to arrive, and when Maria brought the plate out, she said softly, "Happy birthday, Abigail. Again, for what it's worth, you deserved better." I stared at the candle and realized something that startled me. I didn't feel ashamed anymore, because my family forgetting me wasn't a reflection of my worth. It was a reflection of their hunger. I blew out the candle and made a promise to myself, right there in the warm glow of a restaurant that had treated me like a human being, would never beg to be loved again. Not by Jason, not by Linda, not by anyone. Sometimes, the most satisfying revenge is simple. You live well without the people who tried to break you. You stop being the supply. You stop being the cushion. You stop being the quiet helper in the background of someone else's story. And you finally become the main character in your own. If this story hit you in a place you don't talk about out loud, if you've ever been used by the people who were supposed to love, you take a breath and remember, boundaries aren't cruelty, they're survival. If you want more emotional, dramatic stories like this, hit like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs the reminder that their kindness should never be treated like a resource to drain.